What's up guys, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and in this video we're going to be doing a detailed comparison between the new iPhone SE 2020 and the iPhone 11. So yesterday I did post a detailed Super Saf style camera comparison between these two. If you want to check that out, I'll leave that linked in the cards and in the description. But of course there are many more differences other than just the cameras, and that's what we'll be looking at in today's video. So initially, let's take a look at the build and design. They are both very similar. We've got an aluminium frame with a glass panel at the back. You can tell that they are both from the same family. We do have slight differences for the camera modules, but generally speaking, I think both of these do look really nice from the back, and they are both also very premium. Now, the iPhone 11 does get a few advantages. Firstly, it is IP68 rated, water and dust resistant, versus the IP67 on the iPhone SE. Now, how much of a difference is that going to make day to day? Probably not too much, but it does mean that you'll be able to submerge the iPhone 11 into water up to 2 meters compared to just 1 meter on the iPhone SE. The iPhone 11 is also available in a few more color options. You get both of these in a black, a white, as well as a product red. But on the iPhone 11, you can also get it in a green, a yellow, as well as a purple. Now, in either case, you can always customize the look of your iPhone with a skin or a grip case from our channel sponsor dbrand. It's a very quick and easy way to give your device some protection as well as a unique look. I'll be leaving a link to dbrand in the description below if you want to pick up a grip case or a skin. The iPhone SE, of course, is a lot smaller compared to the iPhone 11 as well. This is the exact same dimensions as the iPhone 8. So if you are somebody that's coming from maybe an iPhone 6, 6S, 7 or an 8, then the iPhone SE is going to feel a lot more familiar rather than having to do that much bigger jump up to the iPhone 11. The iPhone SE also weighs quite a bit less compared to the iPhone 11, and it is probably one of the most compact smartphones that you can buy right now. Now let's move over onto the front of the displays, where there are lots of similarities, but also some significant differences. So firstly, in terms of display technology, both of these have liquid retina displays, LCD. They both have the same 326 ppi pixel density, the same contrast ratio, as well as the same peak brightness of 625 nits. They're generally really good displays. They're of course not at the level of the OLED displays that we've got on the iPhone 11 Pros. But the biggest difference in between these two, of course, is the screen to body ratio. The iPhone SE has a very similar looking front to the iPhone 8, and that also means that we've got pretty thick bezels on the top and the bottom compared to today's standards. The iPhone 11 has much smaller bezels all around with a notch. So yes, the iPhone 11 does have a larger display, but that higher screen to body ratio means you're getting much more real estate in comparison to the size of the device. Now, how much does that mean to you is going to come down to your personal preference. I do like a larger display with a higher screen to body ratio. I'm somebody who consumes a lot of content on my smartphone. But if you're somebody who's not too bothered about that, then I'm sure you're going to be absolutely fine with the iPhone SE. Now, one thing that you do get because of those bezels is Touch ID. So this is the fingerprint scanner here on the home button. It works really, really well. It's very fast. And most importantly, it's very familiar. If you're coming from one of the older iPhones, then you're going to feel right at home with this Touch ID home button. On the iPhone 11, you do have Face ID, which again is really, really good. It's very fast. It works really, really well. Now, which one of these you prefer is going to come down to your personal preference. I guess you've got advantages and disadvantages of both. I personally do prefer a fingerprint scanner. I just think it's quicker and more convenient on the whole. But certain situations, such as when you've got gloves on, Face ID is better. Now let's move on to the cameras. So as mentioned, I have done a detailed Super Saf style camera comparison between these two, and I cover pretty much all aspects of the cameras in that video with lots of samples. So I'll link that in the cards and in the description. But in a nutshell, although many images in good light are very comparable with the primary cameras, on the iPhone 11, I believe you do have a larger sensor. This is not something that Apple have specified, but the iPhone 11 does come with a night mode, which means low light photography is a lot better. You also have the ultra wide camera, which lets you get in a lot more into your shots. It's something that I really like. And on the front facing cameras as well, although lots of images are comparable, on the iPhone 11 you do have a high resolution and it allows you to get wider selfies, which will be great for group selfies. And for video as well, although the iPhone SE takes really good video, the iPhone 11 has better dynamic range, better stabilization. From the front facing cameras you have 4K, whereas you've only got 1080p on the iPhone SE. So yes, the iPhone 11 does offer more features in the way of cameras compared to the iPhone SE. But that's not to say that the iPhone SE has bad cameras. It's still got very capable cameras. And a lot of it does come down to what's powering these two. And it is the A13 Bionic chip, which is very fast. You do get a little bit more RAM on the iPhone 11, which you may not notice on a day-to-day basis, but it's going to help with gaming and multitasking. But generally speaking, on the day-to-day for a regular user, performance is very comparable between these two. They are both very good, and that's also thanks to the software. You do have iOS 13, and Apple is really good at providing software updates, so both of these should also last you a decent amount of time. Both devices also support dual SIMs. You've got a nano physical SIM card slot, but you can also have an eSIM, which is great. And both devices also have stereo speakers. We've got one in the earpiece and we've got one bottom firing. The iPhone 11 does have spatial audio and it also has support for Dolby Atmos. So it just does sound better, it's more rich, and it also gets louder compared to the iPhone SE. Now let's talk about the batteries. So we do have a much larger battery on the iPhone 11, which does result in better battery life. Now do bear in mind that you are powering a larger display on the iPhone 11 compared to that on the iPhone SE. And things are relative, so it's not just about numbers. And although usage varies from person to person, I think you will be getting around 25 to 30% better battery life on the iPhone 11. Now for charging, both of these do come with a 5-watt charger out of the box, but they do support up to 18-watt fast charging. That charger you would have to buy separately. And both devices also support Qi wireless charging. This is something that I really like. It's very convenient. And finally, let's talk about the price. This is one of the biggest separating factors between these two. The iPhone SE is coming in at a very competitive $400 or around £420, whereas the iPhone 11 is starting at around $700 or around £730. So you've got about a $300 or around £310 difference between these two, which means the iPhone SE is around 60% of the price of the iPhone 11. Both devices do come in a 64, 128, as well as a 256 GB option. And I guess the question is it worth spending the extra $300 on the iPhone 11? Well, in my opinion, getting that better display, the better cameras, the better battery life, speakers, etc., I do think it is worth it personally, but if you're on a budget, you don't really need those additional features. You maybe want an iPhone, but you've not been able to get the iPhone 11 because of that price, then the iPhone SE is going to be a really good option. Maybe you want to buy a phone for your kids. Maybe you're in the Apple ecosystem. You've got things like FaceTime, iMessage. Maybe you want to get a phone for your parents or something. Again, the iPhone SE is going to be a really good option. And I think it's going to sell really well. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Definitely drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to see more coverage like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of that coverage. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time.